Private didn't have space. Nothing out there.
That room was small.
Hi.
I ain't never been, never.
Hi, good evening. I see some people online. I'm going to give participants another, let's say, 3 to 4 minutes to log in. And then we're gonna call the meeting to attention if not to order. All right, so thank you everyone for signing in. It's nice to see everyone. All right, I'll be back in a moment.
For everybody. So you're gonna say good evening first, and then I'm gonna say good evening.
All right, good
because I'm
evening, everyone.
first. Sir, how are you?
We're gonna get ready to call the meeting to attention. I have to type with dashes because for whatever reason, I cannot do spaces, so if you see that in the chat, just go with it, please. Yeah, and I see Stacy there. This is.
Okay, and then,
That's just funny.
We have-
So.
Well, you have to sign up for this. Although housing is only online, maybe there was a confusion.
And then.
This video every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Your name is still not on the attendance list?
Posted.
Oh, put it on my to-do list. Yeah.
Yeah. from outside.
It's nice to feel like, you know, on the board.
I don't exist.
And
No,
then
you
the
exist.
video is
Trust
gonna
me,
play
you exist.
this video. So after you're done.
Okay.
And then.
I don't know, I have no idea. We're gonna figure it out.
And then I finished off.
Hi.
Did you? I'm not too aggressive. It's not that early, the immigration.
Let's start off
No.
with like the police and.
I didn't know.
You start off.
Oh, okay, it's getting late. I thought it was like.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
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 but in a second, after the
My
meeting, we'll
name
talk.
is Felix.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you for attending. Well, this is the Youth Education and Libraries meeting, in case there's any confusion. If anyone's looking for housing, I think it is exclusively online, so just FYI. Okay. I sent an email to the presenters, are you all here to present as well? Okay. I'm not certain. You look familiar.
Yeah,
You
I've
look
been,
familiar.
I've been to plenty of these.
Yeah, I was here
Yeah.
last month.
Yeah.
But these are like newer
Yeah.
tag libraries.
Yeah, okay, all right. Listen, making sure. I see everybody in the neighborhood too. I just saw a person, y'all gonna laugh at me. I saw a person on the train this morning going to work and we bumped into each other, said, sorry, you know how it is, a stranger. I saw her on the train coming back, just randomly. I left work early, but that's happened. So that's just how it is. So I'm that kind of person. It is very a New York thing, yeah. So I'm just like, do I know you or do I think I know you?
So one of our presenters in my school,
Really?
I was like, you look familiar.
You look familiar, that's
Like,
cool.
who's in it?
That's good, I like that. That's really good. All right, so as we mentioned, we're gonna keep it really brief today. I'm so sorry we're starting a little late. I'm trying to give people a chance to come. We had a few emails that they might not be able to make it, what have you, so I wanted to give people a chance. But there will be a timer. I hate the timer. Please forgive me for the timer. I don't like it, but we have to keep the meeting going. So when the timer goes up after 5 minutes, if you could just wrap it up, please. Try to get to your endpoints and we'll have a moment for questions. And then maybe you can carry it offline if you need to. All right. Thank you everyone for attending. Nice to see everybody, especially with this weather and the current political climate. The last time we saw each other was before the inauguration. So it's a very different energy now. Very different energy. All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We have quorum, right? Yeah. All right, calling the meeting to order at 6:39 PM. Okay. And we can go ahead and begin with Stacy from Classical Theater. It is recorded, should be. Yes.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank y'all for having us here. I'm representing Classical Theater of Harlem. I am the newly appointed Director of Education, and I'm going to keep it to the point. I know you sent those great questions. Thank you for the order. I'm just going to answer those questions that you sent. So our organization, Classical Theater of Harlem, we really focus on bringing and maintaining the classics uptown, not just downtown or not just in the theater district below 96, but actually making sure that the classics are in the Classical Theater of Harlem. And specifically as the Director of Education, our education department is focused on going into elementary, middle, and high schools across the city, but specifically focusing it on the students and the communities of Harlem, uptown. We've also gone as far as the Bronx, not quite Harlem, but we have gotten up there as well. And we've also done things in Queens or Brooklyn, but focus is on Harlem. That's where we work. Let's see. We primarily focus, and our main kind of thing is we love to employ working artists. So people who are in the industry, people who have done these things so that it's real world knowledge when we bring the things into the classroom for the students. We are, again, right now in elementary, middle, and high schools. And it did ask if we got the West Harlem Development Grant, what we're doing with that. We're currently using that at a school called New Design Middle School. We've had really great success with a poetry theater residency where we actually kind of bring in the art of rapping, creating poetry, the expression, giving these kids a space to express what's going on. And we have these really beautiful pieces come out of these children. You know, kids always surprise you with how in depth they can go. So that's been what we've been focusing on with the West Harlem Development Grant. Those are all the questions. Are there any questions? I mean, I'm just trying to keep it brief and make sure I answer that. Do y'all have questions for me or anything I can maybe go a little bit deeper in or for?
No, but that's very exciting. First, I want to tell you congratulations on getting the grant
Yes.
because we know that, yes, that has made a lot of difference for so many of the organizations that we host. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you said you're in new design. Are you, I think I know the answer to this, but I want to make sure you're just doing middle school in general or working with elementary school and high school as well?
For all of the grants or just the new design?
Just in general for classical
Oh,
theater.
we're across all. We're in elementary, middle, and high school.
What
Yeah,
high schools are you?
right now we're at Mott Hall High School. We're starting a Wadley. Well, this is kind of outside of
Yeah.
thing, but we're doing Wadley as well. We are potentially, fingers crossed, the Denzel Washington School of the Arts. We are fingers crossing to see if we can get into that. We're working on that, but those are some of the high schools we're at right now.
All right. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Yes, yes, we would love to, but we're working it out. We're working that one out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Does anyone have any questions for Stacy in the chat or in public? All right. Thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate it. Hello, hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
no.
y'all. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Do we have anyone here for Epic Theater Ensemble?
Yes, that's me. Hi.
Hi, Xavier. Okay, I did not see you. I'm so sorry. Xavier, did you need any screen sharing
Oh,
capabilities?
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, hello.
Did you need to share your screen at all?
Yes, that'd be great. Yeah.
Alphabetical, I guess not. Give me one moment. Okay. All right, you should be able to share your screen now.
There we go. Can you see that?
Yes, we can. All right, and I'll start my timer. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. So hi, I'm Xavier Pacheco. I'm an alum of Epic Theater Ensemble's many programs, one of which is their illustrious summer intensive program. But I started as a student and now I'm a teaching artist, mentor, and actor with Epic professionally and full time. So I feel very honored to be presenting this here for you all with you all today. Supporting Epic's adaptation project is this grant that we're partnering with the Urban Assembly School for the Performing Arts which is actually my alma mater, where I went to high school, where I graduated from. So it's really special to be going back as a teaching artist with the company that I worked after school with. It's really full circle moment. And we'll be working with the students there up in Harlem on this residency, helping them to adapt the play Antigone, which culminates in performances of student written work on adaptations of the play. So their own kind of iterations of what they learned on working on Antigone. This is a picture of a workshop professional performance that we had in the fall, kind of workshopping this project, this residency. We performed it up at Andrew Friedman Home in the library up there, which is this really historied Bronx mansion by Yankee Stadium. It's a really dope event space to be in. And the students were there watching that show. And the project really asks students to find the present of what Antigone means to them. It's a 2,400-year-old play written by this ancient Greek, writer Sophocles, but it has a lot to do with themes that we see politically relevant today. And that's what the project is centered around. And it does so through multiple different languages, both in class and in performance, in English, Spanish, and French, which has been a very exciting new venture for EPIC the past few months. So like I said, Antigone is very relevant today because of its issues around policing, around individual rights versus safety of the state, young people's right to self-govern, to stand up for what they believe is morally right, even if it's, legally disallowed. So the play still resonates very much today. And so that's what we intend to do at the beginning of the residency. And as we've started it already, is to connect with students on the content of the play and how they see themselves in it. And I'm going to keep moving for time. And then start to wonder about, that's me. And then start to wonder about how they can reinterpret it for themselves today. If Antigone was set in ancient Greece, where, somebody is defying a king, maybe they can set it in their school classroom where somebody's defying a principal, finding ways to make it relevant to today. And then, bringing that to life with the teachers who are assisting them, the teaching artists who are assisting them and bringing those works to life, writing scenes as a class that they eventually will perform and share with each other, usually in larger public spaces. And if they would like, with the support of professional actors from EPIC that come to perform the play either alongside them or for them. And that's really the scope of the whole project. If you have questions on who EPIC is, I'm happy to answer those, but I'm sure my 5 minutes is just about up.
Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting. That's really timely. How did you have to come across Antigone? I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
Like, how did you happen to choose Antigone? Was that an accident or was it purposeful?
No. So actually, Antigone is one of the first plays that EPIC taught over 20 years ago. It's one of the first plays that they used in residencies because of the potency of its political maneuvering in the play, and both in how students and artists interact with it. It's so politicized and so clearly, evidently, almost timely. EPIC has always been able to use it to further their agenda of, politicizing and, and getting them to think critically about what's happening in the political landscape around them. So it's been in the EPIC pedagogy for 20 years.
Yes, no, I was just wondering, like, it's just so timely. So I was a perfect match.
Yeah.
Lydia, good question.
No, I was just gonna say that's almost 3,000 years old, that play. I taught theater at Queens College, and that is just throughout the decades, standing up against power. That's right. With your own moral instincts. You have to question. So that's perfect. You can never get over that. Never.
It really works. It really works. Even if students are in a very young stage of challenging things that they think are wrong. Oftentimes they're challenging, not having their phones in classroom, but it's a start, so it works very well. Yeah.
It can be against parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very time. Very potent piece, and it works very well. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Xavier, I know you said you're partnering with Urban Assembly School. Are you in any other schools?
Yeah, so absolutely. We are working in several schools, more than I could probably name. And we're in Bronx International that I was at today. We've worked with BSA, Bronx Academy of Letters, which is a middle school, several other schools that we're working on. We're using this residency to teach them with. And so we're going to have all of those schools over a matter of, I think we're doing 15 performances or so, come and watch the shows as on their field trip. So there's a number of different schools that we're working with. This just happens to be one of them.
Oh, wow.
That is great.
Who are they working with in our district? The Urban Assembly Academy for Performing Arts. Yeah, one of my favorite schools, because we just have so much contact with them. All right, fantastic. We'll reach out to you online because you can give us some tickets for the play.
Oh, absolutely. And they're free. And it's free. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
Kidding, but okay. Oh, no, I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all for your time. Let me stop the sharing.
All right, wonderful. All right, let's see. Is my friend Katrina on to sign in?
So welcome, Miriam. Yeah, hi everyone. If you can allow Simone to share her screen, that would be great.
Okay.
Simone
Let's
Spigner.
give me a moment to go. Okay. Fabulous. All right, Simone, you have screen sharing capabilities.
All right, you can just put it on slide. That would be great. Good evening, everyone. I'm Katrina Adams. I'm the Executive Director of the Harlem Junior Tennis and Education Program. And joining me is Simone Spigner, our Program Director, Kwesi Baless, who's our Outreach Coordinator, Linda Hamilton, who is our Development Director. We are excited to be a part of the meeting this evening. We serve most of Harlem, if not all of Harlem, providing tennis education and wellness to youth at the Armory on 143rd Street between 5th and 6th Avenues. Our mission is to develop champions in tennis education and wellness. We've been around since 1972. We've been serving over 25,000 kids since its inception, since 1972. But our goal really is to serve as many kids in Harlem as we can. Through our grant, through West Harlem Development Corps, we have been able to serve several students, student athletes from CB9 and from MCB9. And by doing so, first of all, we have several of these kids that are enrolled within our program. But through our tennis programs, we are after school from 4 to 8 at the Armory. And HJTP Tennis Pathway to Success is through our programs from grassroots all the way through our tournament team. We like to say we're putting rackets in our kids' hands and we are developing them into champions and using tennis as a vehicle for them to earn a college scholarship. Through our program, we're also offering education programs and wellness components as well. And so through holistically, we are offering through our Learning Resource Center, college readiness and mental health programs as well for these kids getting, ACT, SAT prep, etc. Outside of the program, we are going into our schools. And that's where the grant has really helped us to be able to reach out beyond our walls. Because as we are in our program, you'll see our day in life where our kids come into the program. You can see the hours of what they do between homework, free play, fitness from the various groups as they are registered in our program. But for those that we go out into the schools, we are servicing Promise Academy 2. Most of these kids are coming into our school. We are going out into Harlem Boys and Girls Club. We go into Philip Randolph, Harlem Academy, as well as some other schools that are outside of CB9 and MCD9, many other schools as well. But our ultimate goal is to serve as many students in the district as possible. We've reached out to dozens. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to connect with many people who have actually wanted to have our services, but that's something that we continue to strive to do. And if there's anyone that's on this call that wants to have tennis in their schools or perhaps come to the Armory between the hours of 3 and 4, please reach out to us as Kwesi Baless is on this call. And our contact information is also in this slide, and you can take it down and reach out to Kwesi Baless, who manages our schools programs. But, we like to say that our sport is teaching life skills, it's developing champions in life. It is an individual sport, but they are really learning how to be resilient. They're building their self-confidence, their self-esteem. We've been around for 53 years now. We have several partners that you saw on one of the slides within the community, within the city of New York. And our motto is we're building champions for life. We've been doing it for, as I said, for 53 years. And that's something that we would love to continue to do here in Harlem. So thank you.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you, Katrina. Nice to see you as usual. Do you still get on the court with the kids and teach them a little something?
I'm getting on the court and talking to the kids. I'm not getting out there as much. I mean, if I have to, I do. I mean, I still have those skills. I am a former professional tennis player, for those of you that don't know, a champion in the sport. But, we have a great staff, men and women, who are out there providing, the necessary coaching that is needed for these kids. But, our goal really is to touch as many kids as we can. We are also in the midst of starting a capital campaign to build a facility to add, try to serve about 2,500 more kids if possible. And our goal is actually looking to find a strategic partner on the West Side so that we can add more youth in Harlem from that side of town.
What do you mean strategic partner? You know what? I'll talk to you offline because I know we have to be moving, but I want to know more how we can help you with that, unless you don't need help, unless you already have
Oh, no,
somebody.
no. We need help. We need help.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we can definitely talk.
Miriam, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, yes, what ages, what grades do you serve, and what schools do you need? Because I definitely know middle schools in the area.
Yeah, so we are working with elementary and middle school and high school. So please reach out to Quasi or inbox us, and she can take your information and reach out to you to follow up. She's on this call.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes.
Katrina, quick question. Do you have someone to pick up kids? Is that something you offer?
No, unfortunately not. But our coaches do go to those schools. If they have gyms in their schools, we do actually go to the schools and provide good services for about.
Okay, I'm thinking about the kids coming to you. You come to the kids. That's great. Okay, wonderful. All right, good. Thank you so much. I'll make some notes and I'll reach out to you. Does anyone else have any questions for our laundry and tennis? All right. Thank you. Nice to see you as usual.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, and also quick note, everybody, please send us your forms immediately. Okay, because Deidre and I, we work, regular jobs. This is not our full-time job, I wish. So if we get called away in meetings or if we're not in the office, we don't always have access to print out and things at a timely fashion that you may want. So please try to send that to us tonight so that we can try to get it to you tomorrow or the next day. All right. Lillian, I know I saw Lillian signed in. Yep, there she is. Hi, Lillian.
I'm right here. Hi, Shanika. Hi, everybody.
Nice to see you. All right, Lillian.
Everyone.
Artistic Dreams. I'm going to make you a co-host.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Please feel free to begin your presentation.
Okay, can everybody see the butterfly?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So that's the notorious Artistic Dreams butterfly, because we get every child to believe they can fly, because we can all fly, even though we may not feel like we can at every moment of our life. Okay, so our mission is to nurture youth 5 to 18 to become creative world citizens who can transform their lives, but also the communities where they live. So that's very important to us, that our students get a civic sense and to engage civically with their community. They also become culturally aware, learn to think outside the box, because this is art, right? And we look at a lot of contemporary art as well, and that really gets them to think outside the box early in life. We also appreciate cultural heritage, so we teach our students how to appreciate their own culture, to dream big and create a better world. Okay, here we go. So we've been around since 2011. So we're going on our 14th year this year, which is amazing. I can't even believe I'm saying 14 years, really. 14 years in West Harlem, because we started in West Harlem and we're still going strong in West Harlem. We're also now in all over Harlem. We're also in Arizona and 7 locations in Mexico. So you can see what started out in West Harlem has spread out. We also work with New York Public Library locations on Saturdays in West Harlem. And currently these are the schools that we serve. In West Harlem, we have PS 36, PS 153, PS 210, PS 129, and PS 161. Our funds are mainly used, well, not our funds, the West Harlem Development Corporation's funds are used to mainly pay teaching artists and obtain high quality art materials. And we served over 4,000 kids in Harlem thus far, and that number is growing. Per year, we offer more than 435 hours of free programming to students. And we mainly work within the school system, so we go to the kids. We have 4 core elements, and we start, and I'm going to skip this, but we start with the self, the student and the self, and we grow so that they could see how to also transform the world. But we start with the inner self. This is where you can see what we do. So inside our classes, we focus in the visual arts. So the arts are at the core when you see the circle with circles. So the arts are at the core, and we offer all our classes in either English, Spanish, or both languages at the same time, bilingual classes. We begin with the self within art and mindfulness, and our art and empowerment curriculums. They really delve into the child, and in mindfulness, they learn to calm down, calm anxiety. They do a lot of breathing exercises, meditation, visualization, and they're also doing a lot of line work with, their brush or their pencil and breathing at the same time. It's really beautiful, and what comes out of that is very beautiful as well. Art and empowerment is about creating a vision for their life and a mission for their life. So imagine if you have a 3rd grader already being asked to create a mission or a vision for their life, that creates an impact. And they get excited about it. And it's exciting for a child to get asked that early on. Okay, I'm a 2nd grader and I'm creating a mission for my life. That really gets them to think what they're about, getting to know who I am early on. And our programs go on to middle school and high school as well. We also have art and world awareness when we look at the UN development goals and all the issues that happen in our world that really correlate and relate to all children around the world, and how to solve these issues. Then we have art and world cultures, and this is where we look at the art from all over the world. We look at art history, and we look at contemporary art, as well as how it's linked to issues, social issues and social justice, and it's very exciting as well. Then we have a new curriculum that I wanted to share as something new with all of you, which is really exciting for us, which is our cultural self-awareness program. It's the last circle. And this one applies to immigrant and refugee youth. This is very sensitive right now, but it's still very, very needed. Whether or not we can apply it and we can continue to apply it to the populations that really need it is to be seen. But we are beginning to apply this at PS 46 in the other side of Harlem, and we hope that it can come to West Harlem as well. We, through this curriculum, are dealing with how immigration can be believed to be as something positive, right? To turn beliefs about immigration into positive beliefs, not necessarily everything that a child comes carrying from whichever country they were fleeing. So it's about positive immigrant role models, creating new beliefs about this, and really also comparing their life back where they came from, where they were born, and comparing to the new life in the United States. And also the difference in extracurricular activities and wherever they may come from. And we have kids right now in Arizona that come from Syria. So we really are excited about this new cultural self-awareness program. If there's anyone here in this meeting today that feels like there's a school or a group of kids that needs this curriculum, please let me know, because this is important work to have kids feel like they count in the United States. The other thing I wanted to share with you today, other new things that we hadn't shared in this space before, are our murals, because a lot of people know that we give arts access around global citizenship, but a lot of people don't know that we also make murals. And so we make these beautiful murals at schools, and we make them with the students. So it's really about a teaching artist coming on and then being able to express with the students. And this is a mural in PS36, at PS36.
Lillian.
Yes.
I want to have you wrap up really quickly, but will you tell me about that last mural really quick? What was it seems somehow, what's going on in this mural? What was the kid's
Yeah.
vision?
This mural is about education. I know that it seems a little bit like it doesn't it's not so linked, but it's actually about having access to education wherever you may be in the world. You may be from a country that doesn't have access, but now you're here and you're going to have access to education no matter if you're a boy or a girl. And this was or whatever you designate yourself as. And we created it in conjunction with Education is Not a Crime. We did it in collaboration.
Okay. I thought it was something about individualism. That's why I wanted to know really quick.
Yes, that's okay. Yeah. And then this is some, I know I have to wrap up. I'll just share these two photos with you. So this is PS210, and it's a collaborative mural as well. All the kids pitched in to make it happen. And then I'm trying to change the slide. Okay, this is a very significant mural at PS 161 because one of the staff members passed away tragically, and then so the whole school wanted to commemorate her, and this is now her mural there. All the kids pitched in also within there's a courtyard, and we painted the mural around the courtyard. Maria had a garden there, so there's her garden and there's her mural.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Something beautiful came out of it.
Thank you. Yeah, and then this is the last one I'm sharing, which is PS36 as well, Margaret Douglas. And this is the Harlem community, and the kids want the extraterrestrials to come to West Harlem to help clean up the neighborhood. And so they go out to outer space, and then they bring the extraterrestrials, and there they are with them cleaning up the neighborhood, making it beautiful.
That's fantastic. Lily, keep up the good work. I had no idea you had located to the West Coast.
Yes.
And have programs happening out there. So that's really good. That's really positive.
In the border areas. Yeah, with Mexico. Yes.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Can I say something controversial?
Who's gonna stop you? Not
No,
me.
I just want to say this, that it is important that they don't, let me put it this way, they are going to live here, right? They're going to live here, and I always remember my great-grandparents who came from Italy. And the first thing they wanted to do was to become American, that's for sure. And they went to high school, even though they were adults, to learn English. So I know you're stressing their identities with the home culture, but to be successful here, and I'm sure you're aware of this, they have to know how to live here and how to identify as American. Otherwise, it's very hard also to govern a country like this. If we don't have any kind of consensual norms. And so I'm just bringing that out. I understand that you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That they need to have that English language even though you've got bilingual. Because I worked at the CCNY for many years, we had a lot of kids coming in, and they had a lot of trouble with writing in the language, and it held them back.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's very critical.
Yes.
You understand
Thank you
what
for your-
So anyway, I just wanted to bring
Thank
that
you
up.
for your comment, because that will help us as we are new with this program and expanding it, that not forget the importance of the core, which is speaking the language and writing it. Totally. Definitely.
Well, I do want to say you mentioned about immigration being a positive thing. Remind your students that the founders of this country were immigrants and were fleeing. We're
Yes.
fleeing
Right.
their homeland because they did not like how they were being treated at home. They were not the sons, they were not right. They were not being held up and being they were the poor ones, they were the peasants, and they were being persecuted for their religion.
That's
and
right.
they fled to find something different under the king's, guys at first, and then they rebelled. So remind them, this is like a part of history that somehow has been forgotten. And you claim to be an American, but yet don't know your history. So that's important to remind them that there's
The
absolutely
irony is that
nothing
they
wrong.
probably got a pass in not learning Native American languages.
Well, they wiped them out, except my people came in after that.
Oh, she said, don't blame me.
After the Civil War, man.
She said, don't blame me. All right. Thank you so much, Lillian.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Let me see if there's anything in the chat.
Make sure you're taking pictures. I'm sure, don't be quiet.
That's right. We're all immigrants, my love.
Oh,
I was born here against my will, but I immigrated here. Let you know.
Likewise.
It's funny.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt, and this is just going to take a minute. How you were talking about the indigenous people and the language and immigration. And my granddaughter, who's in second grade, they had a virtual meeting, a virtual class today, and they were talking about the Indians, the Native Americans. And she came out and they said that the teacher asked her who killed the Indians. And she came out and she said, the white people did. And she said, because they pushed them out of their country and they didn't speak their language. A 7-year-old girl was saying this to her teacher.
They also
And-
spread disease. And they started to keep them from their own land and their own access to their foods and their rivers and lakes where they were making
In Gaza right now,
Yes.
throwing those people out of Gaza.
ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing.
Exactly.
Yes. So it's see, this is why we have that for 5 minutes. Yes,
Europeans
thank you.
doing it.
All right,
Right.
let's go next.
Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
So
No.
Biobus and and React, right? Biobus and
Oh, I
React.
love them both.
All right.
They're online.
Where? Let me see if
There's Steve
I-
and Maya should be online.
But I don't see the other person. There was 2 people for Biobus, right? Maya and Cameron, you see them both?
Yes, here's what.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see them. I know
like,
Christine's there.
if we could like, like have somebody else going first, I think Maya is still in transit. I would appreciate it.
Oh, that's fine, Christine, that's not a problem. Nice
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much. Thanks. I'm sorry about this.
Don't be, that's okay, that happens. Okay, these trains are acting up. Yes, Generation Citizen, Christina. Not Christine, but Christina, is she on?
Christina. How do you pronounce it? Janice, I don't see Janice.
Hi, I'm the Executive Director, Courtney Thomas. My colleague is going to present. How are you? How's everybody doing? My colleague Dalvin is going to present in the stead of Christina. And he's on the line, so Dalvin, if you can come off mute. He's not feeling very well either. I want to tag that.
Yeah,
But
I'm right
he's-
here.
That's
I'm
okay,
Dalvin Bartley.
Dalvin.
Hi,
That's
nice to see you.
okay.
I am a senior program manager.
All right, Dalvin, I have you as co-host if you need to share your screen, and I'm gonna start my timer when you start.
Perfect. So at Generation Citizen, we are a community-based civics organization that really believes in taking learning about the democracy out of the classroom and into communities. So students typically only learn about the 3 branches in the classroom, and we really think that it's important to have them, especially with the way that the federal government is going, and the way that misinformation and AI is being used. Like you can't Google anything without the first response being an AI-generated response. And so we look to give students 2 sets of skills, those civic knowledge and civic engagement skills, as well as those 21st century skills like research, communication, public speaking. And so we have students look at community in 2 different ways. They either look at community as their school community, so they'll pick focus issues like school uniform, school lunch, or senior dues to address and advocate for change, or they'll think about the community that their school is in or that they live in, really thinking about mental health, homelessness, or gun violence, and thinking about learning that since our program is from grades 6 through 12, learning that as early as 6th grade, students are able to not only advocate for change, but get in contact with elected officials, go to community board meetings, and really be able to get their voices heard. So we are a national organization, and so I'm a part of the Mid-Atlantic region. And so we have 4 regions. We have the New England region, the West, the South, and Mid-Atlantic. And so you'll see in the Mid-Atlantic region, we've been here for about 14 years. The majority of our caseload is in New York City, and then we have some rest of state New York districts, as well as Philadelphia, and an after-school program in New Jersey. And so our curriculum is about 25 standard aligned lessons that we consider to be supplementary, because teachers can take our curriculum and implement it directly into whatever they're teaching. So we've seen it happen in civics electives, but we've also seen it happen in 9th grade global, where a program manager works with the teachers to create a curriculum map, really determining where our curriculum fits best. So it's broken down into 5 units. That first unit is how they identify their focus issue. So they build a democratic classroom, really thinking about how they want to feel in the room and how they want the democracy to look. They go through some identity and social power work. So who are they in their classroom? Who are they in their school? Who are they in their community? And how do rules and laws affect them based on who they are? And that leads them into social power work, really thinking about what groups are privileged and what groups are marginalized when we're thinking about these focus issues. They'll do community interviews to really get out into their community and find out what are some assets in our community, and what are some issues in our community. And then they'll go through a process called consensus building, so that the entire class picks one focus issue. That second unit is that research piece, where they'll dive into historical context, they'll dive into root causes, they'll dive into government systems, and they'll make a policy goal. Then they'll plan their action steps, then they'll take action. And we wrap up with a civics day, which is like science fair for civics, where representatives from the class will come to the New York Bar Association and share out the work that the students have done. And so we did receive the grant from West Harlem Development Corporation. And so we have used it to really support the 3 schools that we work with in Harlem: Urban Assembly Academy for Future Leaders, KIPP Infinity, and KIPP Star. And it includes educator professional development, program materials, personnel, and supporting them and their attendance to Civics Day. And so for Urban Assembly for Future Leaders, we've been partnered with them for more than 5 years. So they're one of our longest standing partnerships. All 3 teachers have returned. Each teacher has about 3 classes. So we're supporting over 60 students in all grades, 6 through 8. And they always attend both Civics Days, sometimes to present and sometimes as community advisors, where they'll get to see the different projects and provide feedback. For the KIPP programs, KIPP Infinity and KIPP Star, it's year 2 of the partnership. We launched the partnership with KIPP Middle last year, where we're in 8 of their middle schools, and so the 2 in Harlem. It's now year 2. Partnered with both of the 6th graders. One is returning from last year, and one's a new teacher. They each have 4 classes, so we're supporting over 200 students at each school. And last year, Councilmember Rayu had a great visit to KIPP Star, where he really spoke to the students about his universal after-school program, because all their focus issues really align to needing after-school programs that they'll be able to go to feel safe. And KIPP Infinity did letter writing programs this year, and a letter writing campaign to Councilmember Abreu's office to really advocate for their focus issues. And so just going on again about the great work going on at KIPP Star. So they really focused last year on youth gun violence, crime in Harlem, and youth vaping. And so they held that meeting with Councilmember Abreu to advocate for his universal after-school program, which would give students the opportunity so they weren't doing those things. And when they presented at Civics Day, their class won the Action Award. And so the class that focused on youth drug abuse and vaping won our Action Award. And then for KIPP Infinity, like I was saying, they did a really great job with consensus building when students were stuck between homelessness and gun violence at first. And through having discussions, they realized that focusing on mental health would address both issues. So students were able to get on board and pick mental health as their issue in order to really address both of those problems. And so they did that letter writing campaign this year to really focus on trash in Riverbank Park, the stubborn persistence of illegal smoke shops, and mental health issues in our subways and classrooms.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a good one.
And so these are the type of the focus issues that we see every year. So students really come together to advocate for anything from bullying to affordable housing to littering to school to prison pipeline. So students really get their voices heard and teachers become facilitators. So this is student led from day one of implementing the curriculum. So students are picking the issues, students are doing the research, students are reaching out to their elected officials, students are presenting their work. So students are really thinking about what issues are plaguing us, what issues are important to us, and how can we advocate for change.
All right, Dalvin.
And then we have our website, and then we have our email addresses up there. So we have the email address for our executive director, for our senior program manager, and for myself, who is a senior program manager.
It's so funny.
Excellent.
Yes, very excellent. It's so funny because your colleague said, oh, he's not feeling well, but you can tell. Pardon me, ladies. Pardon me, ladies. I just want to say, you can tell that you love what you do. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that you
thank
believe
you.
in what. Are there any questions? Go ahead.
Miriam had a question, but I wanted to say, Delvin, I had an opportunity maybe about 5 years to attend a program at Urban Assembly. And it was just amazing that the students, it was definitely student led and just how much they knew and how the work that they did. So I commend your work and continue all the great work you're doing, especially civics is so important. And to make sure
Especially
that-
now.
Especially now.
Yes.
We were mumbling, we
Miriam?
were saying that, this civics is not being taught. My mother knew more about civics. So, I mean,
Really?
the fact that that's happening is encouraging.
Absolutely, no,
So
absolutely.
important.
No, we know why you're talking. We don't think that you're talking about any nonsense. I just want to make sure everybody's heard. I don't know you're talking. Because it's exciting. It's exciting.
It is
crosses the
exciting.
board.
Miriam
That's
is
a good thing.
asking.
Yeah, go ahead, Miriam.
Why they're not in public school.
Question, I noticed that all the schools you're in are charter. Is that very specific? Are you planning on going to public schools? Because I feel like public schools really need this level of organizing. The students could really benefit from this as well. And it'd be great to have you in both kinds of schools.
Urban Assembly Future Leaders is a public school, not a charter school.
Excellent point.
Yeah, so we're in both around the city.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know
They
that.
need to be invited in.
That's right. My son is in urban assemblies on Governor's Island.
Yeah, Harbor School. We're partnered with them as well.
But still, are you planning on going into more public schools?
Yeah, we're across the city. So in the state, we're in 320
in
classrooms,
our
serving
district,
8,000
in our
students.
district, because I love what you're doing. This is
Yeah.
amazing work. And I believe your students worked with our health committee once on the vaping. That was,
Yeah.
they worked with us years ago on that. I was on that committee and they did amazing work. That's why I just wonder, like, can we put it in more schools? And I know you start at 6th grade, but any plans to like start this at younger grades?
There's been potential talk for it, but 6 through 12 is really our focus area. And if anybody can help kind of provide kind of information about some other schools in the district, that'd be great. We know that there's always shifts with like administrations. So sometimes schools come back, sometimes schools don't. But we would love to continue to grow in the district and in West Harlem.
And Miriam, feel free to, I'm the executive director, Courtney, and I know we're short on time and there are other folks that need to present, but feel free to email me. I'll drop my email in the chat for you. And feel free to reach out to me or give me a call. And when you email me, we can talk offline. I appreciate you. Thank
I
you.
love what you're doing. I mean, this is like,
I love what you're doing.
we need
Yes.
more of this everywhere.
Thank you.
Excellent.
We received it. Thank you so much.
Courtney, you are a star. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're a star.
Yes, no, because these are real questions, but I asked everybody to help me move it along and you did. I appreciate it. If anyone else has any questions for Courtney or Dalvin, please feel free to put them in the chat. And Dalvin, did you want to throw that last screen up one more time in case anybody wants, or put your email? Would you put your email in the chat? Do you mind? It's in the chat? Okay. Pardon me. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I see Maya has arrived and I've made Maya the co-host. And should I make Cameron the co-host as well? Forgive me, I can't see everyone.
Yeah,
I need to.
I think Cameron is here as well. Can you also make him the co-host? Thank you.
Yes, I can. Okay, there we go. Okay. Done and done.
Awesome. I think Cameron, you're sharing the screen. Awesome.
All right.
You want to start us off?
I don't know if Cameron's on mute. I certainly don't hear anyone else talking.
Can everybody hear me?
All right. Yes. Hi, Cameron. Okay.
Awesome.
Go.
All right. So, I'm Cameron. I'm now a campaign coordinator at We Act. I was an environmental health fellow before. And we're here to talk about sort of our collaboration with BioBus on a neighborhood environmental justice youth science program. So just a lot of text. We'll probably skip past it because we're unlimited time, but We Act is sort of has a long history in Harlem fighting for environmental justice, specifically for the Northern Manhattan community. And BioBus, Maya, I'll let you chat a little bit about them.
Yeah, and so BioBus, we work with K through 12 students all throughout Harlem and also all throughout New York City, specifically students that have been historically excluded from the scientific community for various reasons. And we provide hands-on science activities with our mobile lab, the BioBus, but also internships and after-school programs.
Yeah, and so essentially, BioBus approached us last year around teaming up to sort of create like a 6-session youth science program that combines sort of the principles of science with sort of the principles of environmental justice to cultivate this new generation of environmental justice leaders and some of the youth of Northern Manhattan and Harlem. And so we ended up creating this curriculum that allowed some of the students that we worked with to explore issues like air quality, extreme heat, access to green spaces, actually go through the process of creating a hypothesis, testing it through experiment, and then refining that hypothesis, and also envisioning how we could apply some of those principles to see how they could make an impact on what their community could look like in the future. So we did a pilot program this past summer with Manhattanville Community Center.
Okay, so in the next few slides, we're going to run you through what those 6 sessions looked like. So our first one was an introduction to what environmental justice is, and we used these graphics from the Giving Tree to sort of demonstrate the examples between justice, equity, inequality, and then directly applied that to looking at different maps of New York City, focusing in on things like air pollution and asthma distribution across the city to sort of get into the environmental inequalities across New York neighborhoods.
Yeah, and then in our second session, what we actually did is we gave the students air quality monitors and surface temperature sort of infrared thermometers, and they, took those and used those to like apply some of the lessons that we were talking about inside the classroom about material science and conductive properties of metals and air quality, and generated some hypothesis about, what air quality would look like in different areas in the neighborhood and what surface temperatures would look like in different surfaces, whether that's, metal, concrete, trees, grass, all of these different materials, and what the relationship between the material would be and the heat on the surface temperature of that material.
So given everything that they learned about how to use those different tools, the air quality sensors and the surface temperature monitors, they actually had a chance to design an experiment. And what they came up with was comparing their community garden outside of the Manhattanville houses to a location sort of across the street by their school. And they designed an experiment to compare the air quality there and the temperatures between that green space and the street side location. And the next session was actually when they went out and did the experiment. You can go to the next slide.
Yep, so they use those monitors to record measurements and make observations about the different areas that they were looking into. And they did that with some of the supervision from BioBus's interns who we sort of trained to complete this curriculum.
So in our session 5, they took a look at their data from the previous session, analyzed it, saw if there were any trends, and took all of that information, what they learned from those experiments, into thinking about how could they actually make a playground, for example, in their neighborhood more environmentally just. So maybe addressing issues of air pollution or high surface temperatures. Like one of the things I remember was one kid saying that every time I go down the slide, my butt is too hot in the summertime because the slides are made out of metal. So real life experiences like that, they sort of took that in and thought about how could they design a better, more environmentally just playground.
And then in our final session, we sort of gave them the opportunity to sort of build the environmental justice playground that they had been conceptualizing in the previous session. So, took a bunch of arts and crafts materials and sort of let them go for it. And, they created all of these different, spaces, lots of incorporating water features and green spaces and compost and, all of these different principles that we had sort of been discussing throughout the session, and they presented on why they decided to make the choices that they did in the playground that they designed.
And we put 1 more minute, go ahead.
Right, this is our last slide. So that was our pilot program from over the summer, and we've been sort of thinking about what the next steps for this collaboration might be. So we have actually already started updating the curriculum to reflect what we learned from this pilot program, and we're hoping to run the program again with other partners. So providing additional opportunities for youth to get involved with advocacy. We're also hoping to deliver some trainings to teachers and other youth-facing CBO staff to sort of continue the impact of this work. And also, again, knowing that CBO have different needs than maybe schools in-school programs might, sort of adapting for those different scenarios. And in order to do all this work, we're actively applying to grants together to continue our collaboration. And that's it. Thank you.
That's
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, Cameron and Mark.
Congratulations. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So when the students present, I mean, is that, all those presentations open to the public to hear them, or at least to some of the members of CB9? Because I'm assuming they do these models and then they get a chance to present after they're spent for a few weeks?
Yeah, so for this first pilot program, it wasn't open to the public, but we had Cameron and some other folks from We Act come by to be able to, so they could present their design ideas directly to people that might have more power or impact in the organizing. But I really love that idea, and I think that could be something that we work into it. Maybe I'm inspired by the last presentation having like a civic engagement day, or maybe a day where they can all present their designs.
And I just want to say that I love the collaboration between We Act Environmental Justice and, you know, BioBus Science, and that they're actually out in the field doing these experiments and building, you know, what they think their community should look like, and have their reasons why, away from just being in the classroom and moving to a lab or something like that, but actually going out in the field and seeing and experiencing that this is my community, right?
Yes.
And how can I help to make it better? Or what are my thoughts in making it better?
That's how it begins. That's how you start thinking about being a part of the community. It's really good.
So I think that's really great.
Those drawings were amazing because it started like, oh, I want a pool. And it was like, we need trees so we can breathe. And then the last one was so detailed. Everything was labeled. So we need a garden so we can have more air. It was fantastic. You can see how they kind of received that information. So great job, guys.
Well, I have a question, Cameron. So did they do the We Act
Miriam.
tour? I see Miriam's hand. I'm sorry, Miriam. Did they get an opportunity to do the environmental tour?
So if I guess you might be sort of referring to like our, you know, we have a toxics tour that we do.
Right, that's the one that they go see the
tour.
asthma, air pollution.
Yeah, and sort of the limited time that we had, we didn't have to give them the opportunity to, like, you know, walk around, you know, the entire neighborhood. We sort of stuck to, you know, the square footage that we had, but, you know, I think for a future session, I think we've been applying to different grants to expand the program. So potentially in a future session, we could, you know, take them on a longer tour of the environment and you know, start to put some of those real life examples to the concepts that we were talking about in the classroom.
All right, we're gonna take CB9 on a field trip. Miriam has a question. Go ahead.
I know, I'll keep it brief. This is for you, but maybe for all, and this, I guess you kind of triggered in me because you're doing a lot of the research with the young people, but have you all thought about ageism and intergenerational and having the kids solve like what an intergenerational space looks like in their community? Because I find that we're young people need to almost, if we're going to eliminate ageism in our lives, in our culture, we have to teach young people. I happen to work for the Department of Aging, and I know they're doing a pilot with some high schools to start educating young people younger about, you know, the importance of cross-generational existence. And I don't know why your presentation triggered that in me to think about that, but is there a way to have children envision what that looks like? What does an intergenerational park look like? or space. I don't know, because we have senior centers, we have youth parks, but society needs to integrate more, I think. And I don't expect us to solve it, but I just had that thought.
No, it's a good thought. Chair?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Go.
No, please, go ahead, Cameron.
Yeah, I mean, I think that wasn't something that we were specifically covering for this session, but I think that it's something that we definitely be, open to having a conversation about it. I think the idea of, creating, more accessible and more inclusive spaces in general is something that I think is more important than ever to make sure that we're holding close to. So I think definitely open to have like a continuing conversation about that.
Thank
And
you.
we can
And it was just like what you were saying. It just triggered that chain of thought. So I just thought, like, let me just share it.
Monique, did you want to add something quickly?
Very quickly, I mean, Miriam, all those programs that were spoke could think about doing that, but my question to the last presenter, you only do it during the warm weather, I assume, and is there a thought to expand it when the weather isn't as warm, and you could do stuff inside too?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point and something that Cameron and I thought about. This was a program over the summer, so extreme heat was something that was really on our minds and on the minds of all the young people we worked with. But we definitely want to give some thought to how this could be adapted for cold weather or in the winter time, or so that's definitely on our list of things we want to think about too.
Thank you. Keep us
I think it's
posted.
great.
Yeah,
I'm-
congratulations on the collab. It went really well.
Excellent.
Congratulations. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I keep calling and I'm always wrong. I am finally on
We can go
time.
now?
Oh my God, please introduce yourself.
So we gotta
and-
stand or like we can sit or like.
If you want to stand, look, this young man is ready.
To stand, that's why I'm like.
Hey,
I
no
don't know
problem.
if they could see, doesn't matter, stay where, yeah.
No
Air,
problem.
can they see us? I think it's better if you sit.
All right, no.
Let me stand, can we sit?
Okay, that works.
Right now.
Okay, this owl tends to move wherever the
This
sound is
keeps-
coming from.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. What, it's on my phone?
Yeah.
You better open it.
All right,
MCB9 email.
all right.
All right, give us a moment. I didn't realize I could have been pulled up, sorry.
This is really lazy. One second, it's fine, take your time.
All right, well, what's your name?
All right.
So my name is Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
Good evening, Principal 9 members. My name is Felix.
Hi, Phyllis, yes, I remember you now.
Yeah.
All right, finally. Listen, guys, I'm older, all right, I'm
It's okay.
older. all
It's
right?
fine, though. Good evening, Council Board 9 members and people in attendance. My name is Tina Tonga. I am one of the senior tag ambassadors for tag. My name is Shirley.
All right, nice to meet everybody. Thank you guys for waiting so patiently. We are, yes. Let me, you're cold. Go back to Zoom. And then go to you. Almost, boom. There we go.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
All right, so, if I'm not mistaken, I think the first question was like, what do we do at TAC or whatever? So what we do is basically like teach our youth to not only advocate, but also teach them that like the rooms that the lawmakers are in, you could also be in those rooms. And we also teach them that, well, I think one of the lessons that we had yesterday, because we also have, we partner with Road to Success at the Boston Support Center in the Bronx. So we're branching out a little bit out of Harlem, but we are still based in Harlem. But one of the things that we're teaching them also is that majority of the jobs are firing Gen Zers so easily, because the main thing that they say is we're lazy, intolerant, stay on our phones, and we just like don't have good communication skills with other people around us. So then that's where we break that barrier going into it. So like we go into schools. Right now I'm working in a school at the PS 175. That's just like right on 135th Street.
And we go in there, we're teaching a lot of the kids that, cause you know how they took away like the IEPs and stuff, like they didn't take it away, but like they took away special education. So we work with like a lot of those kids that don't get the extra help, but we're teaching them that
Wow.
there's different ways for you to project your emotions. And you could do that through acting. So one of our program directors, Miss Nicole, she's not here, but she runs that specific area. And then I also worked in a different school to where I was teaching the kids social and emotional learning. And I was in Queens. Yeah, I do a lot. And then, we also, back to piggyback off of what I just said about like teaching them to be in the rooms that the lawmakers are, you know, in. We just recently had like one of our big events, which was the conversation with the candidates, and that was January 10th at the Schomburg Center. So we hosted that, you know, I gave a little speech, still waiting for it. And then before that, we taught voting rights at the Shabazz Center. Do y'all know where that's located? So we did that with like Yusuf Salam and a bunch of other
Nice.
council members, and we brought in our partner in schools. And I'm you know, put this on Felix.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
My name is
Felix.
Like it says on the slide, tag stands for teaching a generation. The reason we're doing this is because not only we're teaching, we're also trying to, like my coworker Tina says, we're trying to show them that the generation is not only the future, but it's the now. One of the main sites we work in is at the ODS Church at 128th and Lenox. Usually it helps like teach the youth how to get out their comfort zone because they're like realistically they're phone addicted and they need to have like career readiness skills in the real world.
Yeah.
So we try to teach them like what's good to like do an essay, how to do an interview properly, and how to like one of the main lessons we teach is like two different types of energy. Are you gonna be a person that like lends energy to people like strive, or you're gonna be a person that just takes in all the energy. So yeah, that's practically it. I think we have like a video.
There's a video, I think,
Yeah.
like for the media. I'm not sure if it's on the last slide.
Oh yeah.
Can you go
That's
to the last slide? Yeah, the hair, what our young people have to say.
But nothing happens
This
on that
one?
one. Yeah.
I know, I think you gotta press
I
the.
think it's on the Instagram.
No, it's on the link.
If you click on the link.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
if not, I have the video and if I could send it, but real quick. Just like to let y'all know some of the stuff. So like in the video, you're gonna see it to where
Yeah.
like,
Sorry.
That's okay,
Yeah.
that's what I tell you.
I'm gonna let the video play and then I'm gonna explain what's happening in the video, cause it might look crazy.
You don't look crazy.
No, like I'm saying like what the activity that we're doing, it might, unless it's explained. Alright. That's not us, that's Obama.
Okay.
Yeah, video call.
Their volume. I can't hear it. It's funny, the Obama video came up, but I can't hear
Oh,
this one.
Us to get together as a community, we learn language and ourselves in ways that we must actually Taipei happens every Thursday, and each week we get together and do this work of activities designed to help us develop professional skills and communication. Whether it's learning how to network, working on leadership skills, becoming more confident, speaking from others, each session pushes us to grow. Plus, it's a great way to meet new people and support each other in confidence, motivating. If you wanna become more outgoing, skills, that'll help you in your future and have one of your opinions perfect place for you so you don't stop join us. This Thursday, they seem like Hi, everyone.
Is that the LDS
Yeah,
church?
that's the LDS
At
church.
what time?
It usually starts at like 4 and ends at 6.
Yeah, so like one of the, like you see right there how they was like guiding us and stuff? That's me. Oh, okay, so like you see how, so we were basically teaching them how like cause she put it to where we was mixed up with random people that like don't know each other.
Okay.
And you're like closing your eyes, like it's learning how to trust other people aside from yourself. But cause I feel like going into this, a lot of the kids that we work with, including myself, when I first got there, I was not talking to nobody. I was very like, you know, my mom, I know what she told me. Say hi, say hello. I was a little bit closed off. I had to get comfortable. But like sometimes you gotta understand, like you really gotta get comfortable in the uncomfortable. You never know when the next opportunity is in front of your face or behind the next closed door. So that activity right there taught us to where like sometimes you gotta have someone that you don't know so much guide you. It could be your boss. You don't know your boss personally, but that's who's paying you. That's who's paying your salary. So it's just like stuff like that. And what we have been doing with the grant that we received. So okay, back to Boston Support. We have an event coming up. I'm supposed to touch on this, but I'm gonna touch on it just a little bit. So we have it to where we are working with the school BHS, and they are currently putting together a town hall meeting for mental health, but that's in progress. So like I don't really have that much information on it. I don't want to get in trouble about that. But other than that, we also use some of the money to go towards our tag nights. So either to provide food, to provide like, gift cards, whatever else, depending on the activities that we do. And yeah, that's about it.
Wow, you say that's it, like that's nothing much. What do you mean? Y'all doing a great
Can you
job.
go to the third slide, please?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
third slide.
Oh, the third slide.
We also have an Instagram, so we'll really appreciate if you could give us a following or at least spread the word.
Yes, please.
Done.
We hope to see y'all all this
Yeah.
tag night that's coming up this Thursday. And yes, thank you.
Oh my God, that's great.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
First of all, I just want to say you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, Janet, Al, you guys are amazing.
Mhm.
You do so much throughout the community.
We're just very
hosted
humble about it.
so many people. You've hosted police and, youth and police, you've hosted the chancellor, you hosted, they just have a huge, majority of times when
If I could go
you guys
down the
are
list.
on, it's like you take up the whole screen. Majority of time, they would visit our committee. I mean, in large numbers, and tag nights are amazing, so they're out on the sidewalk, sometimes they're on the street, they're catching people as they go by.
Did
So
y'all
keep up the
catch
great
us,
work.
the last-
LDS or just?
Yeah, you were.
So
posting stuff.
what I was gonna say is, so like we used to be at the Salvation
Salvation
Army.
Army.
That was like, when it started, that was before I got there.
Yeah, I used to go.
But now we, currently we at the LDS church, but like, we have like 3 different locations. So we got the Boston Support, the LDS church, and then there's another church, can't specifically remember the name, but we're not at there right now. And if anything, it will be posted on the Instagram. But yeah, like sometimes you will catch us outside during the summertime, literally promoting our youth explosion. Forgot to mention that, that's a big thing. So before we go back to school, we do a book bag giveaway, we do youth performances, we just, interact with the whole community. It's not just for fake either, like, we be out there, not just for those, 1, 2 little things. And then also we had it to where we had our youth outside this upcoming election to register people, not to register them, but like, get them to register to vote or whatever. And we had them out there, just a lot of stuff. Like, I'm really excited about it. I
That's
just want
great.
to-
As you should be, that's great.
I'm really excited, and
Yeah.
I'm smiling because, as you said, youth many a time are portrayed to be apathetic and
Yeah.
not wanting to get engaged, but looking at all of you, I'm very encouraged and enthusiastic in terms of the work you're doing.
And it's a diverse community.
Yeah, keep up the
Thank you.
work.
I'm telling you, we some very like humble people, like the rooms that I've been in through this program, like the people that I've met, like, yeah, I'm gonna have to touch on it. Like literally the the press conference that I did to where I got Commissioner Dr. Ashton Hassan literally introducing me because he knows how big I am on like mental health, like that's how far TAG has gotten me and soon all of them, because they are new here, but they've gotten opportunities.
That's great. Keep it
The
up.
other thing I wanted to say that I know you guys are still looking for a permanent space, right? I think I spoke to Janet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's one of the things, they're looking for a permanent space.
they've been looking.
Yeah.
What's the LDS stand for?
Oh.
Lord of Lord. Latter-day Saints? Yeah, the
Latter-day Saints,
Church of Latter-day
right,
Saints.
right.
It's an acronym, yeah, very against acronyms, yes.
Yeah,
This is
Latter-day Saints.
Let me ask you a question right here.
Different community.
Why are you so interested in mental health issues? Do you see that as a big problem?
I see it as, okay, so I feel like what people tend to confuse a lot is mental issues and mental health. And when it comes to those 2 situations, and then you go out onto the streets, people blame, oh, it's just drugs. A lot of those people out there have really bad mental illnesses. And then when they're put into the hospitals or whatever, and then they're given the drugs or what, they start to get addicted to it. So it's like, people don't look at it from that perspective. They just look at it like they're crazy, whatever. And then I've gone through my own mental health problems. And it's like, growing up, I feel like my mom, she's more lenient about it now. This is coming from like a personal place. But like, she's an 80s baby. A lot of them were taught like, you know, your feelings or whatever, they're there. But if you ain't paying no bills and all you gotta do is go to school, you should not be talking about that. You don't have nothing to be sad about. And it's sad though. That's reality. And I feel like as she's gotten older too, she's starting to realize that wasn't right. I'm glad that we could break this now because I'm only 20. I'm about to be 21. But yeah, October 31st, 21. But you know, it's just like that cycle. So like I feel like coming into tech specifically, that's helped me like advocate more towards like my biggest cause. And it's not just that, like even when it comes to the soft parenting thing, I talk to a lot of parents. I'm like, you know, sometimes you do gotta tell your kids, okay, this is not okay. You can't dismiss all of their bad behaviors because when they go out into the real world, they're gonna think that everything needs to be sugar coated. And I just strongly do not believe in that, and we see it within the schools. So like that's two of my biggest things. But then, yeah, when it comes to the school to prison pipeline and mental health, they really do feed into each other. And we're gonna touch on that in the town hall. But like, well, not us, but BHS. That BHS, one of our partner schools, they're putting that on, but it's in progress, so I can't really talk too much on that. But back to what you said though, just to get back to it, that's pretty much why like I'm big on that because I feel as if people gotta learn the difference, and some people, everyone needs help. But you gotta understand like what exactly are you helping before you just go over there and put everything in one box.
You said you're only 20, but you sound much older. A lot of older people don't get that. So you're.
I was just saying that. I was just saying that. I was like, those are some wise woman words. How old is she?
20, about 21.
And your expression.
Thank you. That is,
teaching a
you
generation.
spoke
I love
better
it.
than many adults do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, she is an adult, that's true.
Your tag
Miriam
line.
means old adult.
I love it. I love it.
I wanted to tell you, you said something about Gen Z.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so you said something about
Chair, hold on. You mentioned town hall. When is that?
tomorrow
I
at VHS. but that you
No,
can't-
not the town hall. That's the tag night. It's on Thursday. The town hall, I can't really touch too much on it. Like if they said I do, you know, I'm just excited about it because I'm putting it on with them.
Sorry.
But that will be posted. I don't know if it's like, cause like okay, one main thing that we do with a lot of our events, we don't mind adults being there, of course, but like it's mainly for the youth and it's led by the youth, which is a lot of people. So like, even when we had the mayor come to one of our tag nights, there was only youth asking the mayor questions. At the candidate, only youth asking the mayor questions. You know, just cause that's how we run things. But if it is open, I'm pretty sure that it will be posted, or if not, you could get in contact with Ms. Janet or Ms. Nicole, but I expect that.
Well, use Monique as a resource. She's our second vice chair. All right, so she definitely has connections. So please feel free to.
I will,
Yeah.
because we've been trying to like invite a lot of. I don't wanna get too much into it, but we've been teaching them how to like, you know, reach out, because the closed mouth don't get fed, and I'm starting to understand that, you know, saying as I get older. So like, we've been teaching them how to like, you know, send a proper email and all of that, and just, you know, outreach, get on that phone. If you don't gotta switch your voice, but switch how you talk to certain people. You know?
Absolutely. We need to stop acting like code switching is a bad thing.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
speak to
not.
my mother the way I speak to my lover. I don't speak to my lover the way I speak to my child.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with code switching. I want to be gainfully employed. I like having money. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to get out of that like thought process. Oh, I gotta keep it real. Keep it real for who? Keep it real for what? You're not paying my bills. I gotta pay bills.
Teaching them.
No. It's okay.
But
I'm
you
not.
said Gen Z.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. So you said something about Gen Z getting kind of some slack about your job skills, and something specific you said about not getting off the phone. But what I want you to please, if you get through to anybody, if y'all get through to your peers, all that aside, when the customer comes up to you at the desk or the customer calls you on the phone, focus on them. Most people do not care that you're on your phone. What they care about is that when they walk up to you, that you're still in the conversation or that you're still doing this. Why I have to say excuse me if I'm there,
Yes.
right? Because you're getting paid to help me out, whatever it is. Whether you're on the phone doing a job or if you are engineering, whatever it is, you're getting paid to do a job. So when the person comes up to you, give them your attention. That's all. I went into a store recently and I waited, I'm not lying, I waited about 3 minutes and 13 seconds. I was trying to wait 4 minutes and I couldn't do it. And I stood at the cashier while they just talked. And I heard all the tea. I heard all the tea about some girl and how she was gonna get beat up after work and yeah. And this was downtown in Soho, where it's fancy. Yes, ma'am. Where it's fancy and whatever else.
She must
And
have lose her
so,
job.
but it just makes it so that employees don't want to hire you because the people that are gonna complain are not me. They're the people who spend the more money. And those are people that they're gonna listen to. So that's what you gotta think about. Your conversation will be there. I promise you got an 8-hour shift. You got time. So you get your peers to understand that,
Yeah.
most of the things will be all right.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about it. Thank you
Yeah.
for the words of advice. Is there any more questions or like comments? Anybody? No?
All right. Thank you guys so
Thank
much. That was a
you.
great way to end the night. We still haven't talked, but I'm dressed. Yeah, that was a great way to end our presentation. No, don't get dressed. We gotta talk about our budget. All right. Are we closing public session? Or is the budget? Okay, so this is the end of our public session. Everyone online, absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
I just wanted to really quick ask about the attendance
Miriam,
form.
stay on.
I'm trying.
Please.
Is it info
I
at
have a question.
Wait, question?
Info at TCIO.
TCIO.
Yeah.
When's the next board meeting? So I can write the email again?
Do you want our meeting or general board meeting? General board, the big one is next Thursday, and it's usually at the forum there on 125th Street at 6:30.
So the one that you specifically we go here for,
March,
Second Tuesday.
second Tuesday. Oh, March 11th, it should be, right?
March
Yeah.
11th?
March already.
Yeah, March and same as February, yeah.
I think.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Do you want us to put you on the agenda and you come make some announcements? You don't have to do a whole presentation.
I'm most likely, I'll talk to my boss about it because she's the one that wanted me to make the email for this meeting.
Okay,
So I'll talk to her about it.
all right. Oh, guys, take some if you want. The library's having some kind of competition. And I actually prepared it for the
Wonderful to meet you guys. I can't wait to talk to
And they
Janet.
so fun.
Huh? Yeah. They are. They are.
You like the earliest night, me and Felix.
Yeah, everything they do it with. Enthusiasm, which is important.
It's not, I don't know if it's paid, but if you wanna start writing, you wanna kind of let your feet, maybe it's hard to. The library has all kind of great.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Yeah, have a good night.
Even if you don't want it, guys, pass it
Like
around.
40 students.
Bro, when is everybody in the? Like,
Yeah, I definitely read the book.
Hi, sorry, I was just wondering how to get the attendance sheet filled out, or if anyone knows where to get that from. I was told somebody has to kind of fill it out or something like that. I just wasn't sure about
You
it.
can download it from the grantee portal, the West Harlem Development Corporation's grantee portal.
Okay,
Flux, you have the password for Flux?
I think I already have the form. I just didn't know how to get it filled out or by who.
Oh. I think you just send it out to the CB9 email. I can get
Okay.
it. Just a second.
Oh, the attendance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm asking about the attendance form.
You know, every
Send
day.
it to, do you have the email mcb9yel@gmail.com?
Thank you.
Yeah, so again, mcb9yel@gmail.com. Deidre and Shanika will respond.
Okay, great. And I'll just send it there.
Yeah, I put in the chat, so I appreciate you. That's so
Oh,
awesome.
perfect.
See the teamwork?
Yes, I love it.
Guys,
Thank you so much.
thank you
I
very much.
appreciate you
Please
all.
try to send those those forms immediately so I can try to get them signed for you guys and get them out the way.
You got
Okay,
it. I
thank
will do.
you, Shanika.
Thank
You
you.
have a great night, Lily, and
Bye-bye.
wonderful to see you. Keep up the good work.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Alicia.
You too.
Okay, good to
Bye.
see you. Bye, Chrissy. Always good to see you, Chrissy. Y'all did a great job with the collab. Keep it up. Bye, guys. Nice to meet you.
Evening.
Nice. Thank you so much. Every time I tell you, every month, I'm like, huh, I actually don't even feel well. I don't even know it. Yes. Oh my God. Oh no, we need to, now you're getting my brain thinking. Yeah, getting my brain working. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's the. And of course.
You know, I'm getting other emails. Yeah, you could ask for them.
Report.
But-
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I know. We get it.
Keep it up.
It's gonna be really good. Yeah. I'm gonna allow you to do it. No. We can get you on. It's gonna be
Oh, I'm so excited.
Are we gonna huddle?
Yeah. Thank you.
Miriam, you look gorgeous. I've never seen anybody look close up on the screen and look gorgeous.